chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Start your day the joyful way. It's your weekday morning talk show inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes. And now here's your host, the queen of joy herself, Jessica Dugas. Good Friday morning, everybody. It is Fun Friday. Listen, none of us had any issues remembering that today was Friday. On Tuesday, we were confused, right? But we know today is Friday, and that's a good thing. I am thrilled. We have another co-host coming up today. Tripp Bodenheimer is here, aka Bodie, and I learned last night that I am a gem. I didn't know this before last night, but we had so much fun last night on the final episode of Just a Squirrel Looking for a Nut. If you missed it, you can catch the replay. I shared it to the Breakthrough Show page last night, as well as my personal Facebook and all of that good stuff. Probably we'll share it on LinkedIn and whatnot today as well. But it was so much fun getting to sit down with Tripp and Oleg and Scott Mason. I mean, powerhouse. And I said afterwards, my husband was watching from the other room, and I said, did I hold my own against those guys? Did I do okay? And he was like, you did great. So that's awesome. It's awesome. We had a really, really good time. Yeah, happy July, everybody. Where did June go? And the first half of the year, I have no idea. But if you find out, please let me know. It really has been, time has gone really quickly. We are down to 13 or 12 days until we leave here, and 14 days. Yes, until my feet are on the ground in Connecticut. So it feels very surreal at the moment, I'll be honest with you. And it's been kind of a long time coming, and there's been so much joy in this process of reconnecting with old friends and just kind of evaluating how far I've come and where I'm going and all of that good stuff. So a lot of joy in that nostalgia, and also envisioning the future and all of that. We're going to be a couple blocks away from my old high school, which should be fun. My kids are already asking lots of questions I'm not sure I'm prepared to answer, but play it out by ear. We'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. And I've been doing like lots of, because obviously things have changed since I've been back home. So been doing lots of research and stuff to see what's going on. They got a farmer's market now, and all of the beach things are open. My cousin Jimmy, a lot of you from Connecticut might know Jim Spinato. That's my cousin. He headlines at Mohegan Sun Casino at Comics, and he's a comedic hypnotist. Yes, my cousin is the one that makes you cluck like a chicken when you say certain words and all of that. But his shows are amazing, and he's running the magic program at the beach now. He used to perform. Now he's behind the scenes running the whole thing. So that was really cool to hear about, though I am sad he won't be doing his magic, but he's focused a lot on his stuff at the casinos, which is good too. So lots going on with there, and really excited about that. If you're joining us live, I would love for you to head over to the comment section, say hello, say good morning, let us know where you're joining from, and of course, what is bringing you joy today. It's July 1st, as I mentioned. Happy Canada Day to my husband. My husband's Canadian. Also, all of my family and friends in Canada. I hope you guys are set up to have an amazing day, and I know you'll be celebrating through the weekend as well. So I hope you guys have a good time, stay safe, have fun, all of that good stuff. So happy Canada Day. It's also apparently International Joke Day. Do you guys know any good jokes? I only know corny ones that would make you not tune into the show anymore. So I'm not going to go there. It's also International Reggae Day. I love reggae music, and so I'll be listening to some of that a little bit later. Nationally, it is National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day. You guys see, I try to tell you that every day is a great day to celebrate something. And if you didn't know that it was Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day, now you have something to celebrate. Tells you to skip the traditional chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry and come up with something fun to have for ice cream. So let me know if you guys have had any interesting flavors recently. I haven't had any recently. We make a lot of our own ice cream doing the plant-based thing around here. And so we mix whatever we want into it, to be honest with you. But we don't usually get crazy. We don't usually get crazy. So, but I do love ice cream. It's also National Ginger Snap Day. Thank your postal workers, because it's National Postal Worker Day, and also U.S. Postage Stamp Day. I can think of sometimes over the last couple of years, or the last several years really, that there have been some pretty cool stamps. I used to like to see different stamps, and now you can make statements through certain stamps, and you got to be careful. You got to be careful what you put on the envelopes and send to other people. Let's check in and see who's joining us this morning. Mandy was in the front row this morning. Good morning. It is good to see you today. Happy Friday. Yes, we've got it. We may be a little losing our marbles in the process, but we've got it. Good morning, Brittany. It is good to see you today. Happy Friday to you. Hope you are feeling good today, and let me know what's bringing you guys joy as well. Mandy, how was your daughter's birthday? Let me know if she had a good birthday and all of that. I also want to check in with Juju and see how her daughter's birthday was yesterday as well. Or not, Mandy had your birthday. How was your birthday? And then Juju's daughter. See, I told you the marbles are on the floor and rolling away as we speak. We're going to take a quick break, you guys, and be right back with our very special guest co-host today, Tripp Bodenheimer. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing. Healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I'm super excited to be joined by an extra special, fabulous co-host today. When I set out to say, okay, what co-host do I want for the end of the week this week? Because we're kind of in this mode of me getting ready to move, and I want to just, have a good time and take it easy. I said, who are some of the best hosts that I know? And of course, Tripp came to mind. He's the host of the Shadows podcast. He's involved in a lot of different things. He is part of our military here in the U.S., and I really appreciate his service as well. So without further ado, let's bring Bodhi onto the show. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
It's been so long.
It's been what, like 8 hours since we last talked?
Something like that. That was a good time last night.
Oh my God. Well, it's funny you said that about checking with your husband, like, hey, did I hold my own?
Yeah.
I had to do a podcast right after, and the host was actually listening to our show. And afterwards, when I got in there, I was like, did I hold my own with those three? So it's pretty funny that you did the exact same thing. I was like, gosh, I felt like I was dragging everyone down, but no, it was good. It was
not even a little bit. And so what we need to do now is we need to gang up on Scott and Oleg and be like, did you guys, did you hold your own with us last
night?
Well,
Oleg got there late too, so he came in.
Yeah,
he came in out of the bullpen. So, yeah.
He cheated is what it was, for sure. Mandy's saying good morning. Everybody's saying good morning. Glad to have you here today. And I'm so excited that we finally get a chance to do this. You host a show called the Shadows Podcast, and you have another one that's going into the other one is remind me the name of it, because
Rise from the Shadows.
I knew it was another Shadows, but it's a Rise from the Shadows. And you're going into season 2 with that. What inspired you to start those podcasts?
So the Shadows, actually, it all ties back to my episode I released yesterday. And had an amazing father. Fortunately, he passed away when I was 11 years old. And my sister, I lost my sister a couple of years after that. So for me, I carried that around for a long time, my shadow. And I learned to embrace it and understand that it's part of my journey, and I could either be a victim or victor mindset. And I decided to, turn all that into something positive. And then when the pandemic kicked off, kind of the silver lining for me was it allowed me opportunities like to connect with the Llama Lounge. One of my mentors runs that, Joe Bogdan. And I wrote an article about my dad, and afterwards I went on there to speak, and I did a podcast just like this, and I got done. I was like, oh, that was fun. That was kind of cool. And I said, I think I kind of had that seed in my head for a while of maybe you should start something like this. But when I was sitting around a house and had all the time in the world floating around on Amazon, I was like, well, let me buy a mic and this and this. And next thing you know, I started it, and now we're yesterday was our 100th episode under Shadows, and it was
congratulations.
Chronicles of my dad. It was actually I did a lot of research and chronicled my dad's 42 years, and it was a very emotional episode for me. But the Shadows, we talk about people's the shadows, those dark moments that you have, and it's not all we celebrate every single thing in life, but everybody has those dark moments. Everybody has those shadows, and it's about embracing them. So started that one, and then Rise from the Shadows is our spinoff, and it's basically like a TED Talk in podcast form. So it's episodes aim to be around 20-30 minutes. Our season 2 launches August 1st, and I got to get you on season 2.
Okay. We can do that when my marbles aren't rolling on the floor. I'll tell you what, lately it's crazy because I really pride myself on being very organized and having things together, and you kind of have to be having a show.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you're juggling yourself, guests, editing, marketing, like all of the things, right?
Yeah.
And ever since we started this journey to sell the house, and I just feel like I'm a different person. And I said, you guys are going to have to just give me a couple more weeks to get myself together, please and thank you, because I cannot think. But like, do you ever? I asked this to our other show hosts yesterday and the day before. Do you ever feel, having the platform that you have, any kind of sense of responsibility to your listeners?
I do. I've never wanted to phone it in and just get an episode out to get it. I want everyone to have a substantial amount of value. And I think that's very important, because you never know who's going to listen for the first time and what message that they're going to be passing along. And we're big on suicide prevention, substance abuse prevention, mental health awareness. I mean, all those topics, real things that people go through. So I feel like I owe it to someone, because you never know what position somebody's in when they're listening to an episode. And the guy that I actually was on his podcast, Wartime Leadership, last night, and he said him and his son, he has an adopted son, and they've never really connected. And they were riding down the road listening to an episode of Shadows. And he said that his son usually just puts his headphones on and does his own thing. And he listens. It was like an 8-hour car ride. But he said that his son took his headphones out, started listening to it, and was like, "Oh, this is interesting." And he said, next thing you know, they had a moment and they connected. I never knew that, because it was just from an episode. It was just, all right, let's hit record. I got my coffee, got my outline in front of me. Let's see how it goes. But that really showed me that you never know who's listening. And yeah, you could really impact somebody and change somebody by your words.
Yeah. And I think being really clear about what your goal is for the show and what your mission is really important as well, because I think when we have that confidence, it really helps. Like there's people, I'm sure, who've tuned into this show who are like, they're singing happy birthday to people. They're talking about flavors of ice cream. Like, how is this even serious? But I can't tell you how many people will tune in to this being the first thing, because it's early. It's early for most people. Will tune in and be like, I went to bed in a bad mood and I got up and I heard, we're talking about fun things and just being joyful. And this just like made my whole day. And so if you're just clear about that thing, what your mission is and what you're doing, you will have those exact right people that need those messages tune in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You tune in here, you find out that it's Creative Ice Cream Ginger Snap Mailman Day.
Listen, because I can't tell you how many times in my life I've woken up in the morning and just we've all had that ho hum sort of like, why do we have to life today? And so, and my goal is always like, there's always something to celebrate. I don't, if you don't have a birthday today, if you don't have anything else going on today, you can go thank your mailman today. It'll be a
You're
better
breathing
day.
today. You're breathing.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love that as well. So what do you have, like, so did you plan? I mean, I know you went into doing the podcast and then decided to do the second one. Do you have plans to go with other things? Or are you just kind of riding the wave right now? Like, what are your plans going forward with it?
That's a good question. Yeah. So with the Shadows, we're going to put Shadows on hold after July. We're going to do our July episodes. Each episode is focused around a different branch of service. So we have an Army, a Marine, Navy, and Air Force represented that are going to be our 4 guests. And then after that, the old way of doing the Shadows, where we chronicle people's journeys, kind of putting that on the back burner. Going to test some new things out just to see when we start our next Shadows episode, which is actually going to be on Halloween, 30 October. But Rise from the Shadows. We're trying something different. Our theme is behind the mask, and it's the mini mask that we wear throughout our. and taking that mask off and getting down to the emotional, social, physical, spiritual domains that we have. And I'm excited about it. We recorded a couple. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, and then also we're doing the Lima Charlie Network, and it's a network of like-minded individuals who have ties to the military, and we all basically just support each other. And it's actually turned into somewhat of like a family. Our Marco Polo chat is very interesting, but yeah, it's fun. And I got a conference coming up in San Antonio.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I got selected as one of the 5 military podcasts to be on display there. So we're going to do some live recordings in San Antonio. Yeah. And yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, I think I don't know any of us that are show hosts that aren't like juggling 50 things at one time.
And you have a family and a job.
Yeah, all of that. I would love to see my dad get involved in something like that. My dad was in the Navy for 23 years, and he always has something amazing to say or share, or he's just very he can be very vocal about things. But I should tell him to get in contact with you and jump in somewhere. That would be cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Yeah. So I mentioned you're in the military. Tell us a little bit about your history with that and what branch and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I actually joke with people. I was like, I graduated high school, went into physical therapy and personal training. And then after about 8 years, I'm like, this isn't really my thing. And then I was also working at Red Lobster. And the joke I tell the students on day one is I was voted by the readers of the local paper as 2-time server of the year in 2007 and 2008. And then I walked away and joined the military at like the height, at the pinnacle.
That's it.
Hung my blue apron up and just walked away. And
no more cheddar biscuits.
I said I was 1998 Michael Jordan. But I ended up joining the Air Force, and my recruiter was basically like, "Hey, you get to travel the world," and he did a good job. He was like, "You see this? This is from Italy. You see this? This is from Germany." And but he was real with me. He said, "As a brand new you're going to be an older, brand new airman. You're going to be sweeping pine cones," and he said, "You're going to be Piglet for the first year, just sweeping, doing all this other stuff." And I was like, all right, it'll be a change, and it's security for me and my family. So I decided to join the Air Force. I got a job working on computers, and at the time I could only log into MySpace. So it's very new for me to now the government is trusting me to work on this piece of equipment. But I learned it pretty quick, had really good training, and had some poor leadership early in my career. But I learned from that. I didn't take that as a detriment. I took it as all right, this is a learning experience. I know how not to treat others. And it changed me in a lot of ways. It changed me as a parent. It changed me as a future supervisor. But I was stationed at Davis Monthan in Arizona for 4 years. And then I got asked to go to Germany. So I was in Germany for 6 years. Incredible. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it. Wouldn't even hesitate. And then I got asked to come to Alabama. And I joke, I was like, that's my trade-off. I got Germany for 6 years. And then they were like, all right, let's even the playing field for you. You're going to Montgomery. But it's growing on me. It's growing on me. Well, yeah, I'm here, and I teach the enlisted instructors basically how to instruct. So we work on public speaking skills. We work on questioning techniques, how to facilitate a discussion, how to counsel people properly, teach emotional intelligence, leadership, finding your leadership voice. It's some pretty cool stuff. So it's fun. I love it.
Yeah. We had a fun conversation last night on the show with about communication styles between the North and the South and different places in the world.
That's right.
And thank you, Brittany, by the way, for being there to witness all of that craziness last night. But how has your experience, because you mentioned that you've been down south for long time.
Mhm.
And how has your experience traveling the world sort of changed your perspective on people, on humanity, on any cultures, anything like that?
Very eye-opening,
Mm,
and diversity is like a big buzzword right now,
right.
but it really is. I mean, for me, I grew up with, like you were talking about, the hey, it's so good to see you, and then they go to Cracker Barrel 30 minutes later, and everybody's gossiping, and just I love Southern. I love people down south. Lord, there's some gossipers. My mom is notorious for it too, but that's all I knew, and
Right.
the biggest eye opener for me was, here in Alabama, or in South Carolina or North Carolina, wherever I was living, you walk by someone, you typically go like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's a "Hey, good, good," and it's just that little head nod. I remember I walked by someone when I was out in Arizona, and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" And they just kept walking, and I was like, "Rude." And someone talked to me about it, and they were from California, and they're like, "Hey, man, that's weird. Don't walk by and just say hey to random people." Um, and so, but I was like, "Wow, I do that with everybody on this compound," and no one speaks to me. And then going to Germany and just experiencing like the culture in Europe, and I to me, probably my biggest moment of, oh my gosh, how have I, like, self-reflection, is when I would see a lot of Americans interact around Europe.
Mm,
And for example, they go up to a stand and they're like, "Sprechen Sie English?" And the person's like, uh, "Nine." And
mhm.
they get really mad that they're in Germany and this person's not speaking English to them.
Right.
And huge eye opener for me. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about different cultures, and my daughter was able to see that as well, and I think that's helped her in her development. And a lot of times we're just used to how people do things in our town,
Right.
in our area.
Right.
So it was good to get that experience.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing on the Breakthrough show this year, Breakthroughs Around the World series, and I've been talking. I don't know how many countries we've done already. We're up to like 20 something, and the goal was to get 40 countries represented, and I think we're going to get there this year. But the biggest thing that I've learned is, so every country, every culture has amazing things about it and has challenges. Every
Yeah,
single one. There's nobody that's immune to challenges. There's no one that has a perfect leader. There's no perfect tradition. There's none of that. And the interesting thing is, as we've in the last couple of years done everything we can as humans to divide ourselves, to find those things to divide us, the overwhelming theme when I ask every guest, what do you love about your country, it's the people.
yeah,
It's the people. Like, they're welcoming, they're amazing, they're loving, and I say to myself, how do we get from that to next day we wake up and it's on social media, and, well, if you don't agree with me, you can just delete me, and all of this.
you're canceled. Yeah,
I don't understand it. I don't. How do you sort of process that, if at all?
I could talk about that one all day long, and I usually do, especially like at work. But for me, it's you're not going to please everybody, and I think social media is such a powerful tool, and I think social media also is such a hindrance at times. I think um, everybody is a journalist. Everybody is an expert on something. Everyone's got that keyboard courage. I mean,
Mhm.
I can go on a sports page with a team, nothing but fans that pull for the same team as me, and I can make a comment about something, and I'm going to get torn up
Yep.
by somebody,
Yeah.
and for no reason. I can just go on there and go like, "That was a great game." What do you mean that's a great game? You're an idiot. And it's like, what just happened? And I think we do that, and you're right. We're a country divided in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I really do. I hate it. But um, I tend to not stray away from those dividers,
Mm.
you know, whether it's religion, politics, you bring up gas prices, somebody's going to, but, and I've honestly started to work on crucial conversations, and that's actually a certification I'm working on getting now, is because that is vital to have, because you almost have to have that in your repertoire now to be able to sit down and have conversations, with educated conversations, and not just,
Right.
well, I read Jessica's post, and you know, or I saw this on such and such, and yeah, it's hard though. It even with my daughter throws out these words like, she should be canceled, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like what? I'm so far out of the loop with these terms, but yeah,
I'm still at all that and a bag of chips over here. So I mean, I
yeah,
don't know
I
these
think
new things.
apparently that's not popular anymore.
I'm upset about that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is my daughter made me a cup that said, because she loves to make things with her Cricut, and she made me a cup that said that. I had a little bag of potato chips, said all that in a bag of chips to use for my Throwback Thursday show. And you know, after so many times of running it through the dishwasher, the C came off of chips and it became more real. Now it says all that in a bag of hips.
Oh, nice.
So that's how that phrase has when you're now in your 40s. That's what happens.
See, I did one with you were talking about corny jokes, and I would tell my daughter, I'd be like, wow, this pen right here, I got it from the bank. It's off the chain.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, wah, wah.
Good silence. How you kill momentum right there.
That's it. I remember when TikTok came out, and you know, the people were starting to do like the transitions and stuff, and my husband would be like going like this, and he'd be like, TikTok, and like, you know, just and my daughter's like, no, please, God, stop it. That's why I got on TikTok. That was my goal, to completely be that mom. That was my reasoning for getting on TikTok.
I got told I'm old when it comes to my knowledge of how to do reels and things like. I've been trying to get better with that on Instagram. My daughter's like, "Get your phone, you're so old."
Fun time being being parents in today. I mean, I asked a question on my show yesterday, and I asked everybody, okay, if you could go back to being 10 years old again, would you want to be 10 years old today, or would you want to be 10 years old when you grew up?
Yeah, I actually heard that question. I was thinking about it. For me, I would rather be 10 years old when I was growing up, because I was innocent.
Me too.
I don't think I was probably stressed, but it was probably about girls and, you know, what my sports team was doing. But for me, I would rather go back to the 10-year-old version of me, knowing what I knew then. Things are happy for me then. Now I'm blessed with everything that I got, but you know, now it's bills and life and $24 a gallon for gas and all this other stuff. I would much rather the knowledge that I know now, the stuff that I know. I don't think I would really want that at 10. Just live life, have fun.
Yeah. I asked a friend of mine that yesterday too. I said, what if she's like, I don't think I'd want to go back to then, because, you know, things weren't so great for me. I said, but what if you could go back and know what you knew? Like if you take what you know now and had it then. And she's like, I don't know, I'd be scared.
I would rather go through first 10 years of my life. Just doing, I would probably tell myself, 10-year-old version of me, don't let stuff stress you out like you do. Don't let others project anxiety onto you. Just worry about you and don't try to please everybody, because you're going to drive yourself absolutely crazy. And I wish I would have told myself that, especially, you know, for the next, you know, 20 years of my life. I wish I would have had that advice. But yeah, 10-year-old version of me was fun. He had a good life.
Yeah.
Mom cooked dinner for him, went out and played basketball every day, had video. I mean, he had it made.
Yeah. Isn't it funny though, like how when we're in that period of time, we are so hard done by. Like we can't get any worse. Things are horrible. And then like when we get older, we're like, man, I had it pretty easy. I wish I didn't think those things that I thought then. And I try to have, do you ever try to have those conversations with your kids? Like, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was younger. And is it in one ear and out the other, or do you feel like they actually listen?
Well, first Brittany's comment where she said first 10 years is okay. It's what happened afterwards.
Right.
But no, I try to have those conversations, but I also try not to tell her what to do. I don't try to mentor. I try to coach more. I try to get her thinking like, look, this is what I have been through. This is how it me. I can give you advice, but you're ultimately the one that's got to do it. But what do you think you should do? And put that on her. If I try to force her to do something or to think a certain way, there's going to be that pushback.
Right.
That ownership to them. And it took me a long. That's one of the things I wish I would have told myself with parenting is don't tell them what they need. Coach them. Get them to think for themselves. Take that ownership of it.
Remind me how old your kids are?
My daughter, she is 14 and she
14.
is
Okay.
Independent little thing.
Yeah.
But she's incredible. I could not have asked for a better daughter.
Yeah, our 14-year-old daughter she's a good girl. Like she just is. She's very independent and has her own things but she's so incredibly helpful. Like I couldn't ask. I mean, for being the oldest daughter in the family, because my youngest 4 are all girls. So she's so helpful. I'm always so thankful for that. But sometimes she's like, she hears the things and she's like, yeah, like that's nice. It was you, but it's not me. Have she ever listened to your show? Like, does she care at all about the work that you do, or like not interested?
She supports it. It's not, I think hearing like people's like real life struggles isn't aimed like that age demographic probably isn't. That's my lowest age demographic, honestly, is I think I have like 1% of 18 or below. But she has heard certain things I've talked about on there. She actually did the intro for my dad's episode yesterday.
Nice.
Really cool. She's aware of it and she supports me on social media and everything.
I love it. I want to talk about this because I know that you had Dee Wallace on your show and I had Dee Wallace on the show. And we had this whole moment here when Dee was on because my kids watched her in Just Add Magic on Amazon. And so they loved that show. And when they heard she was coming on, they were all geeked out about the whole thing. I'm like, hello, ET. And they're like, no, Mom, Just Add Magic. Like it was like this whole thing. And so afterwards, I said to her, is it okay if the girls come in after and just say, hey? And she was like, oh, absolutely. So we finished the conversation, we finished the recording, and she's like, okay, that was nice. Now where's the babies? And so everybody came in, like there's 8 of us. Okay. We're like all like squeezed in the video thing. And my youngest she was 3 at the time. And her face is like right here in the camera, like all up in the thing. And Dee looked at her and she goes, that one's going to be an actress. It just completely all in it. It was just so funny, but it was such a cool moment. What was your experience like with her?
So I had actually met her at a Comic-Con.
Right.
And then we started talking and I try not to go there and push the podcast on people or anything like that. I think I had like the patch on my backpack and she had asked about it. And, I was like, well, if you ever want to come on, but trust me, you are more than welcome. And it so happened, it was about a month or 2 out from Halloween. And I was like, oh, how cool, from Cujo.
Yeah.
And it just so happened, the stars aligned. We got her on there. And the day we actually recorded was my sister who passed away. It was her birthday and she was a big horror fan. And The cool thing about the Dee Wallace episode was she was like, we're dedicating this episode to your sister today. And she gave her a huge shout out on there. And it was really cool. It's so sweet. I told her next time I see her at one of those, I'm definitely going to track her down and talk to her. And incredible experience, really.
Yeah.
And kind of one of those, it's one of those guests where you kind of pinch yourself because, like you
Yeah.
said, it's the mom from E.T.
Yeah.
Sitting here talking to her. She's already trapped in the car on Cujo, and
Yeah.
she's sitting right here, taking time out of her schedule to talk to me. And super cool experience. She's awesome. You actually helped get me set up for that one because you sent me some clips from yours and
yeah. I mean, it was honestly, with I don't even know what we're at for a number of guests that I've talked to over the years. I should add that up because we're having our 4th birthday next week. But the truly one of the most real people I've ever met, like, and just so down to earth, which is surprising and refreshing from someone out of Hollywood, where you're kind of like, you just don't know what you're going to get sometimes.
Have you had the ones, not to blast people on here, but if you had the one where you get them on there and they're like, all right, I have 20 minutes or whatever it is, no chemistry whatsoever, and it just goes through the motions, and then it's like, all right, well, hey, if you ever need it, and then they're camera off, everything. It's like, wow, great.
Yes, often. And so like the first season of the show, and I think there was at one point when we were talking last night that I was going to ask you about this and I didn't get to. First season of the show, I felt very much like I was like, I have a show. Like, who wants to be on it? Anybody want to be on it? Raise your hand. Who wants to be on? And it was kind of like begging people to please come be on my show. And then as time went on and the word started spreading, now I have to tell people no now. But it's also nice because now I feel like I don't have to settle to have people on the show that we just don't like. I can get along with anybody. Look, I can have a conversation with anybody, but to have that actual on-screen chemistry that needs to happen in a video show, like, people, if you look uncomfortable, people will go watch something else. And so how has that been for you, like with the growth of your show and guests and all of that?
Oh, so much to unpack. When I started, I was like you. I felt like I was throwing out flyers like, please join us on the shadows. And it was like, no, nobody was tearing off the little strips. And
you get a free donut, lollipop.
And that, I remember I tried to do a giveaway and didn't go over well. And I think the person who subscribed won by default, but I would get people on, and I kind of caught this early because I'm very much, I can connect with anybody. Anybody can message me. We're going to connect. We'll set up a talk. We'll have coffee or something on Zoom. But there were some guests that I had, and I'm like, it didn't feel right. But you know what? It got me my episode that I need for round out the month. I'm like you. I'm at the point now where, honestly, like full transparency, I probably have about 10 people that I'm not going to be able to get on. Yeah. Or that if I would have just pushed the shadows all the way through to October, I would have been fine. But I'm like you. I'm having to tell people like, okay, well, can you be patient and wait till October, November? And we've connected. And I like to do pre-talks. I don't know if you do a lot of those.
I do.
I do pre-talks. Even with someone who is highly successful, I'm like, can we just hop on and do like a 10? Let me call you and let's just talk for a minute. And I can feel it if there's chemistry.
Right.
If there's not, I've emailed people back, and I've had to get, pretty good at it, but I've had to message people back and go like, I just don't think it's what we're going with right now. Right. But yeah, that it's definitely been, it's made me reevaluate how I assess people, because sometimes you just look at someone, you hear them on a podcast, they may connect with you, and then I have zero chemistry with them whatsoever.
Right. And I think we're on the same page with that as well. I've seen and I'm not gonna blast anybody this morning either, but I've seen a lot of coaches, people who coach people to have their own podcasts or shows or whatever, and they say don't have a guest form, don't do the pre-call, like that's your job to do the research. But and for me, it's not about research, it's about the chemistry. It's 100% the chemistry. It is, I tell my other hosts on the network this so much. Like, if you can't pull off like looking like your two old friends sitting down for coffee on the air, nobody's going to watch, truly. Mm-hmm. Because they're not interested. Nobody, if they want a TED Talk, they're going to go look for a TED Talk. If they want, a preacher, they're going to go look for a church service and all of that. They're coming to see that chemistry reaction and the interaction between you two when you can hold the conversation.
I had one the other day that I did, and great person. We connect really well. When we hit the record, when it says recording in progress.
Yeah.
Their personality that I knew went to, yeah, I'm glad to be on here today. And I'm sitting there recording, and I'm like, come on, this is not. And when we finished, I don't know if you ever watched Saved by the Bell.
Yes, I love Saved by the Bell.
It's the AC Slater yearbook one where he freezes up. And yeah. So the yearbook video. So whenever we finished, and it was like, hey man, appreciate you being on here. Yeah, this was a good time. Recording has ended. Whew. Man, that was good. What do you think? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Don't know who that was, but thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I don't, I have a guest form. I have a pre-call every time. And that really, it also has helped with like no shows, things like that. Cause if people get to know you, then they show up. I can't tell you how many people don't show up that I've never had that call with. I've never had the call or never had a pre-conversation, and then they just don't show. Why would they? They don't know me.
Funny story that I've only told this to like one person. So this is an exclusive, I guess. When I started, I was really trying to find guests, like good quality guests, and I wanted it really quick. I'm like, oh, why is President Obama not coming on the Shadows podcast? I don't get it. And so I had a co-host at the time, and the co-host put our show on like this. It's like a matchmaker podcast thing, and like an eHarmony for podcast.
Yeah.
And I started getting in our inbox the most random request ever. It was like the guy who can fit through a toilet seat. Like all this random stuff, the world's fastest Uno player. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I started looking into it, found out we've been put on some like, matchmaker forum. And I was just getting the who's who of people trying to get on a podcast. So with me and one of my friends, that became one of the running jokes, is that I have the parade of human oddities trying to get on the Shadows for a while there. But I stopped those after a while.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. I cannot, we've had some interesting ones, I think, but definitely not fit through a toilet seat.
You didn't make the cut.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. That's awesome. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back, finish up the show, get some final thoughts from you, and also do our birthdays and whatnot. So we will be right back after this.
Imagine a world where every child gets a great education. Educating all children is the only way to end poverty. This is what the Weiss Scholarship Foundation is working to accomplish. Our 6 staff members, our mentors and coordinators, who are on the ground in Kenya, are totally engaged in every aspect of our students' lives, so we can give them every opportunity for success. In just a few short years, we have already awarded 141 scholarships. We send children to high school who would have never gone without our support. And then we help them go on to either university or vocational school. We have already scaled our holistic business model to 4 locations and are ready to scale it to many more. Today it's Kenya, but tomorrow it's more countries. Please contribute what you can today. You can make a one-time donation, a recurring donation, or choose to sponsor a child all on your own for all 4 years of high school for just $3,500. Go to our website, www.weisscholarshipfoundation.org.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm here with my fabulous co-host today, Tripp Bodenheimer, aka Bodie. Which one do you prefer? Tripp, Bodie? What?
Tripp is more, I guess, like family, and those gyms. You're more Tripp level.
Oh, yay.
Bodie's more just military.
Okay, I got you.
Edward is it? I'm really in trouble.
Yeah. I will not call you that. You're not in trouble. Yeah, it's funny because my husband was in the car business for a long time, and everybody just called him Dugas, and it was always Dugas. And I think I feel like it's such a guy thing, like whether it's a military or like a really, like they just call you by the last name, and then he was in the video game industry before cars for the long time, and he had a nickname Black Sun, so everybody called him Black Sun. And then now we all 8 of us have different Black Sun names, and so when we go play a game together, because we love to do gaming together, we play Pokemon Go, we play a lot of different things together, we all like, you'll go to like, see, have you ever seen Pokemon Go like in action? Okay, you have the gym, and you can take over a gym, and it's like the Black Sun, sparkling Black Sun, fire Black Sun, and like the whole gym is like black. They're like, who is this? It's going on. It's like we're some kind of mafia going on out there with Pokemon Go. It's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah,
it's so funny. They're like, who is it? And you'll see, like, wherever we're at, like we'll join like a Facebook group or something for wherever we're playing, and they're like, who are these people that have taken over all It's so funny.
You said there's 8 of y'all too, right?
Yeah.
That's the full-blown mafia at that point. Yeah,
it is. It's crazy. All right, so listen, we do birthdays at the end of the show. Do you know anybody that has a birthday today?
I guess I should check my Facebook list.
That's what I do, that every morning.
Ooh. Whoever, if I'm forgetting you, happy birthday. I'm probably going to send you a message right after this. Yesterday was actually would have been my father's 71st birthday.
I wrote him down, Charlie.
Yep. So yeah, absolutely. So happy belated birthday to my dad. And yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
Love it.
Somebody.
Brittany said today is her grandmother's heavenly birthday today. She would have been 92 today. So happy birthday, Helen.
Okay.
In the celebrity world, Princess Diana's birthday was today. Also, who else do we have? Misdemeanor Elliott birthday is today. Love some Missy Elliott music. Pamela Anderson, Liv Tyler, and Dan Aykroyd. We were talking about Ghostbusters last night. Dan Aykroyd's birthday is today. And it's so funny because there were hardly any birthdays yesterday, and I'm like, everybody was just like, June's over. We'll just wait till July.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
your dad. Your dad was like, we'll get one more in.
Yeah.
I love it. And then in the celebrities in my life, Anna O'Reilly's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Anna. And then we have 2 Breakthrough alumni that have birthdays today. Roman Mironoff's birthday is today, and Karen Lynn's birthday is today. Happy birthday to both of you. Now, when we do the Squirrel Show, you have the thing where everybody says the title together at the beginning of the show. When we did Just a Squirrel. Well, at the end of this show, we sing Happy Birthday together. So,
oh God.
Okay. Here we go. You're gonna get a drum roll. Here we go. There's no better way to start your day, Tripp. No better way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear. Wait
dear
for it. Princess Diana, Missy Elliott, Pamela Anderson, Liv Tyler, Dan Aykroyd,
Natalie.
Anna O'Reilly, Roman Mironoff, Karen Lynn, Helen, and Charlie. Happy birthday to
Ooh.
you. Yes. You did fabulous.
I do better at that than I do the squirrel in the nut.
See, right? See, listen, they're all here. They're here for it. Every day we do this, every single day. What do you have anything you have coming up next? We want everybody to go to the website. I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody right now. And you can go check out the episode yesterday from about your dad, Charlie. We'd love for everybody to do that. What do you have coming up next that people can tune into as well?
Yeah, I just did that episode. Like I said, July, we start with Jeff Knight, who's the founder of Angels 14, which is an awesome organization for military veterans. We've got some really good guests coming up. And then we've got, like I said, the conference in San Antonio, which is going to be huge. But Rise from the Shadows drops August 1st. Very excited. We're putting a lot of steam behind that. And we got some new things coming our way with the podcast, but check it out. Go over there. We've got book recommendations. We've got blogs. There's a lot to look at. I can guarantee you, out of the 100 guests we've had, there's something for everybody over there. And got a pretty big announcement coming up too. So I'm telling everybody to stay tuned for that, but it's something that I'm finalizing right now, but I'm very excited to announce it. But yeah, definitely go give us some support. Instagram is where we are the most active, _Shadows podcast. Go over there, follow us on Instagram. That's where, majority of our content gets put there. It's our bread and butter.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Sharon, for tuning in this morning, and have a fabulous 4th weekend as well to you, my friend. It's always good to see you here today. We need to get you a pair of Sharon's glasses. Sharon, I don't even have them here because I'm getting everything ready to move, but Sharon had sunglasses that say gratitude on the side. And they're pretty groovy. So we need to get you some of those so you can rock those down there. Yeah. All right, so we're going to make sure everybody tunes in for the launch of Rise of the Shadows season 2, and go check out the episode from yesterday of the Shadows podcast as well. And also, I wanted to bring up before you leave, yesterday on the show you mentioned a certain verse and from the Bible, and I went to go look it up, 27:17, and that was a good one. I had to refresh. I went to Catholic school, but I had to refresh my memory for a minute there.
Iron.
Iron sharpens iron. Why is that verse important? Like, why did you mention it?
I wouldn't be successful in the podcast if it wasn't for people like you and people like, the Joe Bogdans, the Noble Gibbons, the Teresa Bodenheimers, all these people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. They make me better. And I feel like I give some sort of value to them as well. Guy last night that I was with, Nathan Coy, we both help each other out so much with our podcast. So I'm just a firm believer in that. And one of my people that I look up to a lot, John Gronsky's got a book, Iron Sharpens Iron. And it's all about how we make each other better. You try to go, what's the saying? If you try to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to, I'm going Tim the Toolman Taylor and butchering this, but basically go with others. But yeah, I love that quote.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing about that. And I was we didn't have time to dive into it last night, but I looked it up after the show and wanted to ask you about it this morning. I appreciate you being here this morning, my friend. This was a lot of fun, and I hope we can do it again.
I loved it. Anytime.
Thank you. All right, you guys, couple quick announcements. We have Joseph McGuire coming up on the Breakthrough Show this afternoon. We're going to Ireland today. We're going to find out, do they drink as much as we think they do? No, they don't. They don't here. Okay, that's what it was such a great episode. Joseph McGuire is a facial analyst. I had to ask him when we started the interview, should I be scared? Like, what do I have to expect here? He's a fantastic guest. You guys are going to love the show. coming up 12 p.m. Central Time this afternoon. Also, don't forget on Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we have another episode of Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light with my favorite ladies, Rhonda, Bex, and Teresa, 7 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, diving into all those favorite spirituality topics. And in addition, I have to give one final shout out to my good friend and co-host of Throwback Thursday. Kevin Kiley released his latest single last night and called Love Me Again. Make sure you go check it out on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of that good stuff. And we will be sharing the video for Love Me Again on our social media later today as well. Tripp, thank you again for being here today. It was a pleasure. Thank you to all of you for watching or listening. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You've been tuned in to Project Joy Live with Jessica Dugas, your weekday morning talk show, inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes only on the Breakthrough Show Network. Binge all past episodes of Project Joy at projectjoypodcast.com. Until next time, help us spread the joy by sharing this episode, and we'll see you soon.